I want to wait for it to pop up. Oh, there we go. Broadcast is live. What's up, YouTube? We are here post episode pressure cooker, baby. Coming up next week. I'm fucking pumped for that. Twitter, y'all been chatting your shit all. I don't even know, Jalen, how long people been asking for the pressure cooker to come back?
Well, probably since like Big Brother Twitter became a thing. To be honest, I mean that's like one of the best comps in the history of Big Brother. So yeah, I'm excited for that too. I hope it's on feeds. Think it should be on feeds, right?
It's gotta be on feeds, bro.
Yeah.
My only problem with it is I hope people actually go for it. Like, I don't want this to be some side type of thing where they just all like get incentives and all drop out, or like people want to throw it and shit.
I just think there's too many people. I mean, we'll have to see how the week shapes up, like this week coming up. But I think that there's too many people that there's going to be one or two people that have to win. You know what I mean? Or feel like they have to win. Like, for example, if Heisem, right, he's the target going into this week. Yeah. If he doesn't get evicted, he's going to at least catch wind that he was like planned on getting evicted. You know what I mean? So I think that, for instance, if he doesn't get evicted, he's going to have to win that. He's going to feel like he has to win that.
Fact, you know I just realized it's next week. So Heisem, right. Yeah, Heisem is outgoing this week. So I'm like, he's not going to be in it. But let's say shit go down this week. Heisem going to go crazy for it.
Yeah. I don't think it's possible to have like every single person in the house gunning for you and you not get wind of it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, and I'll say this, Suri obviously played it right. Like, after all that, like how messy she was, she clearly played it right. Like, something happened when fees were off where Suri went to them and was like, it's falling out. We gotta stick with the plan, you know, and she didn't blindside anyone unnecessarily. I know everyone was freaking out about that. And it would have been stupid. It would have been stupid. And I agree. But my gut, in Suri, I trust she was not going to do something stupid because it's Suri, bro. She is the most strategically sound person in that house. She's not going to do none of that crazy shit that doesn't need to be happening. That's my.
Well, I'll be interested to see if it was like her that decided that she was gonna tell the other side, or who it was, right? Because that was something that I was really worried about. It seemed like her and Izzy were not planning on telling the other side, and we're planning on, I guess, just like blindsiding them in a way, which to me was like, like they already had pretty much a disaster of a week. I wouldn't say disaster, but that would have made it a complete disaster. And so yeah, it was good to see that. And also for people like Jared, Corey, in America, it didn't out them as well. So yeah, so now I think we have kind of a clear like agenda going into the week where it seems like everybody is teaming up to get Heisem out. However, I do think that there's a way that does not happen, which we can get into later. But as far as the episode went, Riley going home, I mean, anything that you wanted to touch on in specific from the episode? I know, man. I always told myself, like, if I was in the Big Brother house, I would never let a unanimous vote happen. I just think that it's really like I would, in the beginning, right, pre-jury phase, like a unanimous vote, having that many people vote to evict you, like, come on, that would suck. So
yeah,
I think I would be throwing hinky votes left and right at the beginning of the game just to kind of spice things up. You know what I mean? Because and for the person that's going home unanimous, like that sucks.
Yeah, and I really don't get why no one did. Like, it was Riley's closest allies too. Like, why did they keel over like that? Like, I like that it was entertained all week of Flip. Obviously, it wasn't logically sound to do it for most people's part. You don't want to die on the hill with Riley that early.
Right.
But so I'm glad it came full circle. But it would have been like nice to see something, because I feel like Jag's side has no backbone. I feel like
correct.
Really...
And what kind of makes me so confused is, like, if you planned on just voting her out if the votes weren't going her way, why didn't you? I feel like it would have put people more at ease and been more open to flipping the vote if Jag, Blue, Matt, for instance, would have expressed that, like, hey, if you guys want to vote out Riley, like, I'm cool with that. I understand I'm not going to die on that hill, but this is why. Like, sometimes you have to, in those interactions where you're trying to convince somebody to do something, you have to take the pressure off, right? And they approached it and they fought so hard for her, like, we have the votes, we're voting to keep her, blah, 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 that it scared people and made people be like, why are they fighting so hard for her? You know what I mean? Whereas if they would have took the opposite approach and said that they were open to what they ended up doing anyways, it might have worked. Like, why fight so hard to keep her and then vote her out? Like,
Not
nobody
worth
would have looked at
because you just show your cards. So
right,
Jag, Blue, and Matt, they all spent all week going as hard as they could for Riley, giving them more ammunition to take out Riley and asserting themselves more as an alliance and to just
right,
keel over and then you just send them home. Now you've shown your cards, lost an ally, and now you're going into this HOH where if you lose, you lose, you know?
right.
The only thing that's positive is that Sari came out of Sari and Izzy and Professor's side now have a target before them. If they lose this HOH, and if they win this HOH, they're all making it another week. So they're covered. Yeah. They're double covered, whereas the other side has to win HOH or they're going home. Because I genuinely believe none of the professors are going to take the shot at Heisen this week. I genuinely believe that.
I think we can get into that, and I agree with that. I think that when it comes to Big Brother, the obvious thing that everybody expects never ends up happening, right? Like, I would rather be a target going into the HOH than becoming a target after the HOH, right? Because it's like usually 9 times out of 10, it's just out of boredom and they just paint somebody a target. And then when they actually have the power, they sit back and they like actually think about it and it's stupid. You know what I mean? So
the problem is, now that I think of it, if Heisem doesn't go this week, like let's say one of the professors wins HOH and they take the safe shot at Jag, Blue, Matt, Cameron, one of them. Now they've already shown their cards that they're entertaining the fact that Heisem comes back. What they want Heisem out. So if they don't take the shot at Heisem's gonna find out.
Yep.
But I think Sari is skillful enough for Heisem to hear that, Heisem to get told by Jag, hey bro, they wanted you out bad. Heisem's like, what the fuck? Goes to Sari. I think Sari just cackles. Just Sari and Felicia, they just start laughing. Like, of course we would say that to them, Heisem. You know, like we were just entertaining it because you were the HOH and they wanted to do it. And he'd be like, yeah, you're right. There's no way he's telling the truth. You know, you probably were just fronting to him. So they probably have a way to cover that base now that I think of it. So
yeah,
they're all honestly, I'm gonna have to adjust my rankings actually right now that I think of it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Sari and Izzy because they were kind of like the focal point of, I would say, the week for anybody that watches feeds.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with the speech, right? That kind of, well, actually, let's talk a little bit about the professors meeting, right? Because even whenever I was watching it on feeds, I was getting the vibes that there is no way that they're going to come out of this meeting stronger than they were coming into the meeting, just because, I mean, like Heisem literally just like, it was like a dictatorship. Like, it was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. No alliances. Like, I wish I could go back and watch that full meeting and see how long Heisem talked and how long everybody else talked, because it seemed like it was just him the whole time.
Right. They edited it to make, I mean, but we know how people truly felt after, right? I just think he's HOH at the end of the day, and he's trying to get what he wanted done, right? I really don't fault him for that. Had it been anyone else doing that, it might have not been interpreted that way. But because people crave some sort of security and some sort of target before them, that's how you bond with people, right? If you all have a common negative opinion about someone. So when Heisem does that, and maybe you do feel a sort of way, you move on usually. But because it's Heisem and not maybe Sari that's being the one asserting, you're like, okay, I want to go talk shit about Heisem to Sari. Now me and Sari are closer, and we both have a mutual target down the line if we were to, hit the fan and needed someone out. So I don't think, and I see people on Twitter being like, Heisem's the worst, Heisem's a dictator, Heisem's in control. Y'all might as well be in the house, right? You might as well be in the house believing that, because we see what's going on. You don't have to agree with Izzy in that sense. Like, yeah, he's assertive. He's the motherfucking HOH. Riley said to his face that she wanted him out. It's really not that deep. So I really think Heisem's going to be able to pivot, especially when he's on this loyalty hierarchy. He's like talking about integrity. He's with that side. The only thing that might slip up is I didn't even see that on feeds, that whole America showdown where
that little chat. Yeah, I found that interesting. As far as Suri and Izzy go, so after that meeting, it seemed like they were kind of pissed off with Heisum and threatened by him. So they had a little chat, and it's almost like they wanted to insert dominance over him and show him that, hey, you're not in control. So they come up with a plan to flip the votes. And I think what didn't get shown on feeds was Suri has all, or didn't get shown on the episode that we kind of got a closer look into on feeds, is Suri has always kind of had a disdain for Cameron, right? And Riley had promised Felicia and Suri safety. So Suri was trying to convince Jared and Izzy to flip and vote out Cameron. They weren't having it. But then Corey brought up what America had said, and that's where kind of Izzy started getting more convinced to flip the vote. So they go on this whole rampage. They have the vote completely flipped. And then what is even more interesting is that they started building alliances around that flip, right? They started having meetings like Suri and Izzy with Matt and Riley, Suri and Izzy with Blue Jag, Suri and Izzy with Blue Jag and Riley. So they started creating like mini groups to kind of solidify, hey, if we're going to flip for you or flip the vote for you, we want to basically protect each other down the road, right? And that's where I felt like the game was starting to get really interesting. So then they flipped back the next day. And this is where I felt like their week was kind of in turmoil and it was going to be a complete disaster. Because not only did you flip the vote already, but you made deals and alliances on top of that flip that now you're going to go back on. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I just think it was maintained enough. I really trust Suri in her game sense that I think if anything, she came out of this week throughout the whole week, she was entertaining them. That's basically
Mm-hmm.
what was happening. They all are gaining some sort of tunnel vision that Suri is willing to make a move with me. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like while feeds have been off, she was able to play it back and be like, I want to do this, but can't for this reason. She was
Mm-hmm.
able to play it off with it this way. And I don't know if that was her true intention the whole time. Personally, I choose to believe she's that smart to really think that ahead.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to entertain this vote, act for a day like I'm going to flip it, talk to my allies just to, really assure that all the facts check out, because you can't just lie one-sided and go to someone and be like, I want this vote, and then they go to Izzy and be like, and Izzy's like, Suri hasn't mentioned anything to me. So the lie has to be double. You have to
Mm-hmm.
lie multiple ways. So if you want to set that foundation, you have to go to Izzy and have like a genuine conversation as if you want to flip it, and then go to that side that you're trying to entertain. Now when they fact check to Izzy and Izzy's like, yeah, Suri already told me, boom, now your lie has been fact checked to their perception, and now
Yeah.
you're in a position. Now when Suri goes to them in the past 3 hours, and something happened in the past 3 hours that it was unanimous at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, point blank.
Yeah.
So I don't know who worked it. If there's some sort of turmoil, that'd be really interesting. Like, let's say
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like mad right now and I'm way off. That'd
Mm-hmm.
be interesting. That'd be
I don't.
interesting.
I don't think there is. And I think that being unanimous saved the week for them. And also, there was a conversation last night on feeds between, I believe it was Suri, Izzy, Jag, and Blue. And basically, Suri does a really good job of coming across as genuine. And I think it's because she's good at like believing her own like kind of lies in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, and she basically like was like, I'm fighting for you guys, and they believed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that conversation saved the week for them as well. And then also, obviously, the vote not being unanimous saved the week as well for them, because now they didn't blindside anybody. And Jag and Blue have made it known that they want to work with Suri and Izzy. So I think that everything will all work out for them as far as that goes. But I think it was definitely disaster avoided. But I think just the erratic way that they kind of have been playing the game, that being Suri and Izzy, I don't know how long that they can keep that up without getting caught, right? It's different when you're playing Survivor and it's 30 something days
Yeah.
and it's so fast paced. Whereas in Big Brother, you have so much free time and so much time alone to think that I don't know how long they can do it. And if I was in that house, I would look at them as like the biggest threats to the game because it seems like they're running the game. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to work with them. They have all the power. And I don't see how people can't eventually pick up on that, if that makes sense.
At the end of the day, like I was saying all week, it's a marathon on a sprint, and Suri is playing the game at Survivor's pace. And then obviously there was that hit tweet that was like, Suri would be about to make merge right now, and people that's when people started to put it in perspective because it needs it, yeah. But like they finally realized, okay, Suri's not on the Survivor Island, she's in Big Brother house, and she's playing at this pace, and she is playing at that pace where it's like, okay, it's due for a big move needs to happen, you know. But I think Suri needs to check out, and clearly at the end of the day, Riley just went home unanimously, so Suri checked out and she slowed down. That's just it. Unless obviously we turn on feeds and we find out Suri was like arguing with people and it was like her begging people to, you know, keep it and she couldn't get her way and she was the one that kind of, you know, if that's the case. But I have a feeling Suri slowed down, let it be unanimous for Riley to go, either planned that in the entire time or came to senses to slow it.
Yeah. And I also, it obviously Izzy knowing that Jared and Suri are, you know, son and mother. Yeah, son and mother. I think that she's kind of forced to work with her. You know what I mean? But I think it would have been a pairing either way. It seems like they have good kind of chemistry, but I don't know.
Izzy definitely seemed like the person that was gonna go in there and probably work with Suri.
Yeah, she's fangirling. I can tell, just because the way that she follows her around the house and just kind of listens to everything that she says. But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, so I think crisis averted for them. I don't think that either of them needs to win HOH. I think they're in solid position. But I could see a very outside chance of something happening to one of those two this week. But that's a very outside chance. But anything else about them?
Nothing crazy. If you're watching in the chat, feel free to leave a comment or ask a question if you want to, like, because we can see it. We got it pulled up on the screen. So if you comment in the YouTube, we're able to see it.
Yep. So I guess we'll switch to the other side of the house and talk about the Handful Alliance.
And even like that needs a rebuild. They need to they need to search the waiver wire and go into check free agency. They need to go into rebuild mode and fix their team up because they are missing a lot of key players because they're very reliant on Jared, who's, I mean, not going anywhere anytime soon as long as Sharice's in the game. And anything they tell Jared is going to get fact checked to the other side. He's going to be there for tonight. They got America and Corey, who are playing a pretty solid floater game.
Right.
Really, that core is Jag, Blue, Matt, and then Cameron. Even at this point, knows that people were making efforts to, you know, they preferred Riley over him, and he's going to always have. So he's going to falter more to Red, right? So you just got Jag, Matt, Blue, and that alliance basically put themselves, like they painted it on the walls that they were an alliance by pushing so hard to keep Riley.
Yep.
So their cards are shown as a trio and that they're all mutually aligned. And then all of their allies are at this point faltering. So they're not only the clear minority, they're just they don't have a shot to be a majority. So they have to completely ditch each other. In my opinion, out of all three of them, Jag, Matt, and Blue, the best one that could pivot would be Jag. I think if he really ditched the whole scheme he has built up for himself, reassessed, rebuilt, and faltered to Suri, he would have the most prosperity in the long run.
I don't think so.
Blue and Matt doesn't have enough game sense. Neither does Blue. And Matt and Blue, they just don't have it in them to think, work with Suri, ditch Jag, whatever. It just doesn't work like that for them. So I think Jag has the best game sense now that Riley's gone. I think that's the best thing that could have possibly happened for him.
And so this would be good because here's somewhere where we disagree. I personally think Jag has the worst shot out of out of them, because now that Riley's gone, I think that he is going to be perceived more as the ringleader on that side. Also, Matt, nobody is threatened by him. Nobody is going to be threatened by him. His number one's lost, Riley. All he cared about in this house was Riley, right? So now he's just a lost puppy. And I think that by default, he's going to attach to Jared. I think outside of, in that little alliance or whatever it is, that he has the best connection with Jared. So I think he's going to attach to Jared. Jared's obviously connected to the other side. Same thing with Blue. Obviously, they're in a whatever you want to call it at this point. I don't know if it's really a showmance or what, but so I think that they're going to attach to Jared. And I think that Jared already has kind of doesn't really like Jag. I mean, he likes him, but game-wise, he doesn't trust him. And so I think if anybody's in the most trouble on that other side of the house, I think it's Jag. I think they see him more as a target. They see him more as a threat. And also, you have to keep in mind that more than likely the next target, it happens every year. 2 girls have gone back-to-back. They're going to be like, we got to get a guy out. It's just going to happen. So I think that more than likely, I think Jag, if not Heisem, it's going to be Jag this week.
Yeah, well, I keep forgetting about Heisem. If Heisem really is that polarizing, Jag, Blue, and Matt's truly, my honest prediction is that I think all 3 of those players like comfort. I think they're all just going to stick together no matter what. I don't even see Matt, even though he is kind of a lost puppy. I think at the end of the day, he's going to be like Blue and Jag are like, my people that also wanted Riley to stay. I think that's going to bond them for as long as they're in the house this week. So their best shot is Heisem. Yeah, it's just Heisem going probably because they need the game to switch up a little bit. So they need Heisem to go or someone to take a shot at Heisem and they miss maybe. Something like that some chaos has to be ensued in order for them to, because it's looking terrible for them.
I just personally, I think that out of everybody, Jag's in the most trouble. And you have to also keep in mind that Matt, depending on how everything went down when feeds got turned off today, depending on how all that went down, they're also under the impression that Jared, Corey, and America were also fighting for Riley to stay. So it wasn't just Jag and Blue. Even though on feeds, we saw that those were the 2 biggest advocates for her, they are all under the impression that Jared, Corey, and America were also fighting for them.
Exactly, and that's what's going to hold them back, is because they're still a 3 that thinks they're a 6, but really Jared's with Suri. Right. Corey and America have faltered already. So those 3 are going to be in some la-la land where they think they have a 6, and so they're all going to stick together no matter what. Their only shot is Suri truly getting her side to value them, and that's it. That's it.
Right, and I don't think it's going to be a situation where it kind of steamrolls. I think if Heisem gets targeted this week, I think it's going to kind of shake things up in the house, and the pressure cooker next week also is going to shake things up, because if they do decide to target, let's say one of the professors wins HOH and they decide we're not going to target Heisem this week, we're just going to stick to the plan, take out Jag, Matt, or Blue, or Cameron, we keep on forgetting about him, but Cameron, I think that more than likely they'll know that they have to win the HOH the following week, and then that could make for really, really interesting stuff, because Matt's not going to let go, Blue's not going to let go. You know what I mean? Like they're not. So it'll be interesting to see. But as far as they go, what they did this week, I think they went up. If they wanted to keep Riley, I think that they had an opportunity and they went about it all the wrong way. And it's not, they were told multiple times by Jared, as well as by Corey and America and Suri, that the reason why people don't want to vote to keep Riley is because they're afraid of what you're doing right now. And it seemed like it just didn't register in their mind that by fighting so hard to keep Riley, you're actually turning people off of keeping her. And she went unanimously. So I think that they're in an interesting spot. But But we know that the tides turn very quickly in the game, so anything can really happen.
All right. Do we want to do tiers or something, or?
Yeah, so we'll do a little segment where we give our power rankings or tiers. How did you want to do it? Did you want to do like, I mean, I think it would probably take too long if we went down the list and ranked them all 1 through 15. There's 15 people left,
No,
right?
yeah, I got 6 tiers. I wrote
6
6 tiers.
tiers?
I got them all in.
Okay.
And some are easy.
Okay, cool. So which tier do you want to start with? Do you want to go from bottom to top or top to bottom?
I got names for my tiers. We can do bottom to top.
I'll just go based off your names.
All right. Tier 6, bottom of the barrel out of the 14 remaining, right? Or 13. 13 remaining, so I can take Riley off this list.
There should be 15. Oh, no, Luke. I forgot about Luke.
Yeah, Luke out.
14, because Luke, Kirsten, Riley. We started with 17.
All right, so I got 5 tiers. I got 5 tiers, actually.
Okay.
All right, tier 5, bottom of the barrel, the graveyard. Now, this is winner contention. This is not who's in the best spot currently, like most likely to win. This is like to win the game. Bottom of the barrel, Cameron is not winning this game. Tier 5, he's alone there. Once I put someone that low, that's the lowest they're getting, because Cameron's not. He could be at Final 4 right now, and I'll still have him in the bottom tier. I promise you. Anyone watching, Cameron will not win this game. I'll bet any amount of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
You agree? No?
Yeah. I think that I would throw Cameron in tier 5 as well. I just think that he just doesn't connect with people, and he's just going to be one of those easy options that at some point he's going to get evicted. He might make jury, but there's no way that he's making the end, or even if he was to make the end, there's not a single person in that house that he could sit next to that they would vote for him to win over.
Yeah. What have people said? Serial killer revolts me. And he just doesn't have charisma. I honestly don't know why he's on the show.
I don't either.
It really infuriates me that he gets on the show, and they just cast anyone with long curly hair nowadays.
Yeah. So we can agree with tier 5, Cameron. Anybody else in tier 5?
No, it's just Cameron alone. That's the absolute write-offs. I really genuinely do not see any, in the whole multiverse, a way he could win. I really don't see any sort of path where he suddenly is at the end. I don't see it. Even as a GOAT, even if people are absolutely bitter towards someone and hate them with their entire body, and it's Cameron, I still think they vote the other person, just because Cameron doesn't have that endearing Nicole Anthony type.
He doesn't connect with people at all.
He doesn't. And especially, I don't even know if Red would vote for him, and that's if they both make jury, right? So it's I don't see it. I don't even think him and Red are that. Kinda. I don't even think they're that type of connection. People make them out, or the episodes make Red and Cameron out to be some sort of hillbilly connection. It ain't even like that. But
I don't. Well, I'm gonna actually add one more to tier 5. I'm going to go ahead and throw Heisem in tier 5 as well. If we're ranking it off of chances to win, I don't think that he has any chance to win. I kind of look at him in the same light as Michael from last season. Yeah. It was last season, right? Yeah. Michael. Yeah. Okay. Where it's this comp beast, right? Even if you can't win your way to the end. So even if he was to continue to win comps, at some point you're going to get got. He's already created himself as too big of a target. Even if he plays down that threat level, people are still going to see it. And also just the way that he showed that how he ran his HOH, and the way that he's very condescending and kind of overpowering, I just don't think it's going to be a good mix. Even if he makes it through this week, if the target shifts off him, which I think there is a good chance it could, I think that it ultimately ends up coming back, and I don't see him getting to the end and winning whatsoever.
I don't see it right now, but I see him having a lot better chance at. I really don't think he's going home this week. I don't think that's going to happen, especially with the odds of someone that he just kept 12 people safe and was undyingly loyal to them, reassuring them constantly. It's going to be hard for someone in their hearts and gut to really take that shot at Heisem. I don't see it happening. I see him even as a threat. I just see him able to. I wouldn't put him on the tier with Cameron at all, especially lower than some of the people in tier 4. But I'll get into tier 4. I called it always use a coaster. These are people not to be confused with floaters. They are coasting. We got Blue, Bowie, Red, and Matt. Blue, Bowie, Red, and Matt. Blue, coasting. She's not bouncing from one alliance to one alliance. She's in her alliance. She's not making any waves. And I know it's early to call someone a coaster, but currently they are on the pace and playing the average game a coaster would. Mm-hmm. They're Blue just dressing in cool outfits. We got Bowie absolutely shutting down Game Talk. She's going to be probably the coaster. I mean, she's going to get all the way to the end. Red's a sleeper. I could see him upgrading for sure because he's surprisingly a lot more athletic than he gives off. Mm-hmm. But Red right now, he is coasting. Mm-hmm. And then Matt. Someone said, leave Matt alone, OMG. Without Riley, he will flourish. Someone texted me iMessage. I'm saying right now, the standings currently, my power rankings, Matt is a coaster. He's not doing anything. He's just the deaf guy that everyone loves and thinks is really cute, right? I feel like he's had multiple shots on multiple showmances. He's just unaware, right? He's just not there. Before the episode, Matt was a tier higher than these players. He was with Riley, and the category was anything but a showmance. But now that Riley's gone, Matt doesn't have to worry about being in that showmance. So I kind of agree. But Blue, Bowie, Red, Matt could easily win a comp or make something happen or flip, and they go up from being a coaster. But currently, they are coasting.
Mm-hmm. I think that I would throw Bowie, Red, and Matt in my tier 4. Bowie is higher for you? What?
So Blue is higher for you.
Yeah. I saw some things from her last night on feeds in terms of strategy, like when she was talking after that meeting with Suri and Izzy, that kind of made me think that, okay, she has a chance. I think she's a lot smarter than she kind of gives off. So I think that there's a better chance than Red, Bowie, and Matt. Matt and Bowie, they have no idea what they're doing, where they're at, what's going on. They're completely reliant on others for information. I think I've seen a couple of times some conversations with Bowie and Red, like some game talks, but I just Bowie and Matt, they're completely in outer space, right?
Yeah, and I think Blue is extremely overrated. I think she looks the part. That looks like a badass player. She should be playing really well, you'd think. She just, like, for a 25-year-old, her maturity is very young. Like, she just doesn't have that sense to her. But I do see her doing distance if she can. Like, I don't think there's been worse players to win, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not counting her out, but currently she has not done enough or shown me enough, especially in these DRs that are obvious. She's a plant. That's what I call it. Yeah. She's a production plant that does whatever she's told, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I hate those. It was like Jasmine last season, is Blue this season, and Twitter absolutely eats her up. I personally, I didn't see it preseason, and I'm seeing the exact same thing I saw now.
Yeah. I think that also, I think Blue is going to have a good shot compared to Bowie and Red at comps. So,
but like you'd think, but Big Brother comps are not like that, right? And Blue kind of sucks. She's just kind of stupid, in my opinion. She's just a little, she's just not smart. Whereas like Red, I mean, you turn those true or false around sometimes for those competitions. Yeah. Sometimes you just roll a thing on a platform, right? Yeah. I mean, I really think they all have the same shot right now, in my opinion. The game they're playing are the exact same. The only difference between Red, who'd I put? The only difference between Red and Bowie and Blue and Matt is Red and Bowie are in the majority, and they have a better positioning in the middle potentially, but are really coasting with their alliance.
True.
But obviously, Blue and Matt are in the better physical shape, you could say.
Right. So next tier.
Tier 3, I called this one piece away. All 5 of these players are missing one thing to make them high caliber players, high caliber winner threats. It's Jag. Jag's on the list. Jag for tier 3. He's just gotten the unfortunate draw. I think he has a lot of pieces, and in those preseason interviews, everyone was picking him, and I saw it. And my only quarrel with Jag was that he was going to be too abrasive. but he didn't come in. He's not abrasive. Clearly, his charisma is there. The only piece he's missing is his foothold. He needs some sort of foothold with some sort of genuine connections. And if he gets those, it's game over. He's going to be a high caliber player if he gets that protection. Do you have anything to say about Jag?
So, yeah, I think I would throw Jag in this tier as well. I think the piece that he's missing is strategic like thinking and kind of game theory, because his social game is really good, right? Out of all the people that were in that original handful alliance, he has the best personal, outside of Jared, obviously, although he wasn't in the core handful, but he has the best personal connections with the Cerise, with the Izzies, with the Felicias. He has the best personal connections with them. He's playing a great social game. But this week really showed me, strategy-wise, he has not shown me he has what it takes to maneuver through this game correctly, right?
I think he's got a bad draw. He just drew a bad hand at the start. He chose his allies, and he got hit with Suri and Jared. There's nothing you can do about that. Like, that's been his biggest downfall, is those two. Like,
yeah,
I mean, he had his team. He was valued by Riley really well right away before she was HOH. So he got, and then she wins HOH. Now he's in the best spot. He knows he's safe. The thing is it wasn't an HOH really. It was a keep people safe. He knows he's safe from a back door. So he had the sense to line up an HOH to keep him safe. And then this week he's being kept safe by Jared, right? Even though it was on sort of he's got the potential, you could say.
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential. I just don't think that, just think conversations that I've seen him have and just the way that he kind of approaches the game, I just don't think that he has what it takes. As of now, I haven't seen that he has what it takes to maneuver through the game and has what it takes to get to the end.
I think he does.
If he can piece it together, then I think that he has a chance.
I think he can talk amazing. I think he can persuade amazing. I think he's got so many tools in his toolkit. He's a very versatile player. He's just a little unlucky right now. So maybe that's the piece missing, is luck. Maybe.
But can he really persuade people, though? Is he really great at talking?
Me too. I'm honestly glad he did not persuade that many people this week. I'm frustrated with how adamant he was trying to show his cards to. Like, I wish he didn't do that, but it's 12-0. Riley gone. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Whole new HOH. Next on the list is Izzy. One piece away.
Oh, wow.
One piece away. Izzy. She's her biggest downfall is, and it's going to be her biggest strength potentially. It's like hand in hand. Her biggest strength and her biggest downfall are going to be with how blunt she is. She's extremely to your face, exactly what she feels. Let's put it out there, multiple times on the episodes, on feeds. She says it how it is, in private, in the HOH room, with her allies, with her enemies. She says it. She just says it. That is either going to be her biggest downfall, where she gets caught up, a big target, and she takes the hit for Suri when Suri's on track to go home, or she's going to get all the way to final two next to someone that probably deserves a lot more than Izzy, and she's going to get all the votes because she was so blunt and honest, Josh BB19 style. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be one or the other, and her biggest downfall is going to be how blunt she is. And honestly, I don't know how much it favors her to get rid of that. I think she has a way to go playing this game where she is blunt. I don't know.
Yep. I think that I'm going to bump Izzy up one more tier than what you have her. So I think I'll give my thoughts on the next tier. So who's next for you?
One piece away, Felicia.
Okay.
I think she's an amazing position, but she is just a hilarious, loving woman that is going to be dead loyal to Suri, and is honestly gonna like not even feel betrayed if it got outed that Jared was her son. I think Felicia would just be excited, honestly. I think Felicia is completely where Suri needs her to be, is probably gonna take a hit before Suri to make sure Suri goes further. Felicia's gonna get on the jury, and she's probably gonna vote for one of her allies to win. That's how it's gonna play out.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's just at the end of the day, she's just going to be there. She's going to ride. She's going to be the most loyal player to Suri and Jared, to the very end. I don't see her faltering at all.
I think she has a decent brain on her in terms of the game. Like, I think she understands how the game works and is able to in kind of incorporate herself in game talks and strategy, and people listen to her, but ultimately she doesn't have that like overpowering the overpowering command of people to be able to do, they're going to do what she says ever. She's more of one of those that's going to be told what to do. Yeah. So I think it's very already clearly written on the wall, a final 7, final 5.
She's going to be on jury. She's going to vote for Cirie, Jared, Nicole, Izzy, someone to win.
Yeah.
But there is a universe where Felicia winds up in final 2 and gets a couple.
There is very much so.
That's why she's so high. Next on the tier 3, one piece away is Corey. Corey, man, like really underdog right now, but starting to flirt with America, but also just not in any of the really important conversations, but is also spreading information. He's just such a wild card for me, where he's got that arrogance about him that also gets played off in a very Dr. Will type of charisma, where he's kind of cocky, but like also diminishes himself through conversation, which is really funny to people, but also rubs some people the wrong way because of his arrogance. And it just worked. It's a good combo for him. And clearly he's getting a few strong connections in that little middle area, because he is a true floater, because he's bouncing from alliance to alliance, and he's doing very well at it. Currently going into week 3. I think an HOH would be the worst thing for him right now.
Yeah, I'm very high on Corey this week. I think that if we did a ranking last week to this week, I think that he would be the biggest jumper in the ranking, right? If you would ask me last week my opinions on Corey, I would have thought that he has no chance. But I think that he's really, really, really done a great job of integrating himself. He's done a good job of latching himself onto some key players in the house. I think that Jared looks at him as, outside of Cirie and Izzy, probably his number 1 outside of those 2. And I think that that's the group that you want to be a part of right now. And I think that that's going to carry him far through the game. And don't forget that Corey is the one that will be willing to take that shot at Cirie down the line.
Yes. It's almost like it's the way they set it up. It's almost like it's like pre-filmed. Like it feels like if I was Survivor and Corey said that, you'd be like, okay, episode 8 is gonna have
exactly
Cirie thing. So it's almost like has to happen. A Corey
right. I very much so see it happening. I think that if it's one person that's going to do it, it's going to be him. And I think that could, to be honest with you, I don't see, unless Izzy says something, nobody, if they were going to pick up on Cirie and Jared being that, having that mother-son relationship, it would have been outed already.
Yeah.
The only way that it's going to get outed is if Izzy says something, or if Cirie and Jared slip up somehow, or if production
might start hinting at it. You never know.
Exactly. If production starts hinting at it, which we'll know which one it is, but I just don't see it getting outed. But I think that a week where Corey targets Cirie could be a week where some things get very, very interesting, and it's going to happen. And that's like a final 9, final 7 kind of move, I think, that we're going to see. But Corey's done a great job. Corey,
I think the shot's going to come a lot sooner than we think. I think it's coming way sooner. I think the first double eviction, probably final 10, 11, if not final 12, maybe. I think
I think it's more of a final 9, final 7 type of shot.
Yeah, I guess Cirie does just have people in front of her, so it's just like, if I take a shot at Cirie right now, Izzy's going to get evicted. If I take a shot at Cirie right now, Felicia's going to get evicted, you know? That's kind of how it's played. Next on tier 3, the last one of the 5 is Hisam. I have Hisam as one piece away just because of how polarized he is right now. If he wasn't so polarized and such a big target, he would have amazing connections loyalty-wise, amazing comp abilities. He would be a absolute under-the-radar stellar piece to win. But because he's already out there, he's in the spotlight, so it's gonna be bad for him. And so I understand him being low, but I'm buying high.
I think that if he plays his HOH differently this week, he's probably one of the top picks to win. But the way that it went, I personally have him way at the bottom. So
if anyone's playing Big Brother at Survivor pace, it's him, in my opinion.
Dude,
if he
and I can get behind a good villain. Like his edit yesterday in that episode was, or whatever day it was.
Well, I don't like a villain that can't like
back it up.
If he's gonna go on this whole integrity, honesty thing the whole season, he's not my villain. Right?
Yeah.
If you would have a DR where it's like, devious, then it'd be a different story.
I like the edit that they gave him. I think it was kind of neat. His DRs are good, but he just he rubs people the wrong way, and I just can't see him.
His DRs feel real to me. I know it feels like a script sometimes, but that's just how he talks. Like he talked like that in his preseason video when he was. If you go to his preseason video and you watch him talk about his exact strategy he planned, he talks very bullet pointy, and that's how he did. That's how he is in the DR. So don't fault him. Like that. And it's not like he switches when he's talking to people strategy wise, one-on-one. He talks like that. Like he talks that. All right, tier 2. It's called if Cirie's in, I'm in. So as long as Cirie's in the game, this player is in the game. Obviously, number 1 would be Cirie. She's tier 2. She's got great winner contention. There's only 2 players in the tier 1, and she's on tier 2 with one other person, and that's Jared. Because I promise you, Jared is not leaving before Cirie. The way it's set up, for Jared to leave the game, Cirie has to already be out of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I agree as well. Brief interruption.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
In my opinion, if Cirie's in the game, Jared has to be in the game. I see no universe where Jared leaves first if Cirie's still in the game. I think there were questions at the start of the season. Is Cirie willing to get rid of Jared? I think that's very clear. She's kind of here for him to prosper a lot.
Correct.
So I can pull down the hill before Jared. So as long as Cirie's in the game, Jared's going to be in the game unless it's some unfortunate circumstance. And I think 2 of those players their connection, it's almost unfair, right?
It is. It really is.
That's what puts them so high, because no matter what, they're going to be giving each other information on different sides of the house. And it's not like they set themselves up for that. A lot of players go into the house saying, I want to team up with one person and play both sides, whatever. And yada, 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 we'll play it. But they just
the last parent-kid connection was Dick and Danielle, right?
Tommy and Christy.
No, I'm talking about parent-child, like
that
connection.
Parent-child. Dick and Danielle, but it was like public knowledge, and there were multiple.
But still, even it being public knowledge, that connection is something that is literally, there's nothing that can break that. And even Dick and Danielle, they didn't like each other. But they still were never going to target each other. And sure enough, when you have somebody in the house that you can undeniably trust and is going to be working for you and working with you, and there's nothing that can break that, it's an unfair advantage. It's even more so of an unfair advantage when nobody knows about it except for one person. You know what I mean? So that's why from the start, I've always believed that they're going to be in the final 2 chairs together. And I don't see it's hard for me to see a way that doesn't happen right now. It's really hard for me to see a way.
Jared's a bit dumb. That's probably their Jared's just a bit.
I think Cirie's more of a threat to breaking, like Cirie's more of a threat to their gameplay than Jared.
That's kind of like, it's unfair that they have that connection, but it makes up for the fact that Cirie's coming in with such a big target. So like, yes, she is a 4-time Survivor legend. That should be the first boot. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, that's probably where Riley went wrong, was not taking a shot at Cirie, right?
Correct,
but then they get it. She probably came on and said, I'm only playing Big Brother as long as I get to play with my son. So that's probably why he's here. I don't think, and then he's still learning. Like, you see Cirie trying to coach him, and I think
I think he's playing a better game than she is. I really do.
I'm talking about as a player. I'm talking who's the better player. There's no argument to say Jared's a better player than Cirie.
In Survivor, no. But in terms of Big Brother, it's a completely different game.
You don't think Cirie's able to maneuver the game better than Jared?
I don't think she's doing a better job than Jared at maneuvering the game right now. No, I don't think so.
I think Jared would have hit the block by now if it weren't for Suri.
I don't think so at all. Who would have
If
put him
Jared
up?
came into this game without that connection on the other side with Suri, like that's what's carrying him through this game. Suri, if she didn't have Jared, I mean, they both need each other to be going this far. If Suri came in and she didn't have Jared, I think Suri would do a much better job at getting further in the game. That if Jared came in by himself, not having Suri to just automatically implement him on the side with Felicia.
I don't think that she has automatically implemented him. I think that Jared's done a good job of building those relationships by himself.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think Suri's a genius. Suri's able to play it in that sense that I really feel good vibes from Jared. That alone, like day one, puts something into someone's mind. Okay.
I think it definitely helps, but I think that if Suri wasn't in the house, I think that Jared and Felicia, that's still going to be a relationship that's strong. I think that Jared has done a great job of playing both sides of the house. You have to remember that they don't know their connection.
I have to disagree. I think if Suri's not in the house, Jared is a complete ditz and is just dead loyal to Blue, Jag, Matt. I think he's just right. I think so. Right there, and I think he hits the block on like multiple. I mean, I don't think he's like. I think if anything, their side is now stronger because they truly have Jared's loyalty, and I think they steamroll a bit better. And Jared might be in that sense, but I think he gets outplayed by higher caliber players down the line if Suri weren't in the game.
Well, I think that we'll have to see how it unplays, but
I would love to see him pull something off without needing Suri's information or help.
I think the only thing that I think that Jared's been helping Suri and Izzy more than they've been helping him. That's my personal opinion. But I think the only thing that Jared has kind of miscalculated in this game is his want and urge to win HOH. If he wins HOH this week, he's an idiot.
Oh my God. It would be the funniest thing, though.
Yeah, it would, but he's an idiot because he's in the best. In my opinion, there's not a single person in the house that will put him up. Not one.
All right, Jalen. So he's an idiot if he wins HOH. Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Did Jared
not an idiot, but that's a miscalculation.
Did Jared do everything in his power to win the previous HOH?
He sure did.
That's what I'm saying. He's missing a game sense. Like he doesn't have that like mindset. Like he's gonna blunder eventually. It's gonna be him.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm calling it. That's his only miscalculation. And I think it's just a natural, his competitor. He's a competitor, like he's an athlete, whatever.
That's what every casual that plays a Big Brother game on Twitter or Big Brother or LRG, they think win comp good, lose comp bad. Yeah. That's all they think. So they think win comp good. That's it.
Yeah. But I think it's more of just trying to establish himself as like an alpha, right? I don't think it's like necessarily he thinks that winning comps is
kind of a
complex. Yeah.
complex to him, I guess you could say. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tier 1, winner contention. There's 2 players. Nicole is my preseason pick to win the game. Nicole.
Oh, God.
Since preseason, I was a Nicole rider, and she has done me nothing wrong. And she is in an amazing position. She has an incredible game sense. She is very sound-minded, and she's going to do great in the game. And then, okay, what are you talking about Nicole for? I'm confused. What's the...
Because I just, in my opinion, right, you can't put somebody as, right, when you look at it like this way, this is how I like to look at it, in terms of position of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There, in my opinion, there are people that if they won HOH would put Nicole up this week and she would potentially be at risk of going home. Whereas there are people in the game such as Suri, Jared, potentially Izzy, that there is zero chance of them going up on the block next week, no matter who wins.
I personally believe Nicole is the best talker, the best talker in the house. Behind Suri. Suri. They go Suri and Nicole. I think Nicole is the second best talker and persuader in the house. Who would put, I was thinking that as well. Who would put Nicole up?
Blue would put her up. Blue would put her up.
Blue would also put up a lot of people. There's a lot that entire side.
I think that she's already expressed in conversations that she would put up Red and Mimi That's who the two people that she would put up.
I really think there's so many options before McCall that if McCall has one conversation in the HOH room, that HOH will decide whether it be Jag, Blue, or Matt, or whoever you want to put, says, okay, I could probably afford to put this person up before McCall, and McCall will be in my pocket moving forward. I know she's not going to go up if Jag, Blue, or Matt win this HOH. McCall will not touch
I don't
the
know.
ball.
We'll have to see. I don't see it at all. I really don't. I don't think that she hasn't built good enough connections. I already see Suri being frustrated with her. Suri and Izzy being frustrated with her. She's too loyal to put up to go against Heisem, which is turning people off of her in
She's
terms of
not
the
too
game.
loyal. She's not too loyal. Jalen, you
Dude,
cannot sit here and tell me that it was a smart move for Suri, Izzy, Felicia to send home to make the flip and send home Cameron this
oh
weekend.
no, I'm saying that I don't think that was a smart move, and I don't think that it's a smart move to take out Heisem. However, when your entire alliance is doing something, when you resist that, it automatically paints some sort of negative image on yourself, right? So
She's
when their
doing a great
entire
job.
alliance,
She's resisting it, but doing a great job at it.
I can kind of agree with that, but I think that she just needs to let that go. And I think that even if it's the right thing to do and she is the smartest person in the room, at some point you have to just go along with stuff.
Well, why do you think she runs to the storage room and then lets out all her anger?
Yeah, and that's another thing. I can't see any player winning the game that does stuff that she does. Like, I
What does
love
she
the
do
storage.
wrong?
I love the storage room rants, but it's kind of crazy to me.
What's crazy about it? Would you rather her do that to people's faces?
No, but a lot of what she says doesn't make much sense.
She goes to the storage room, she lets out her thoughts and lets out her anger, and then she goes to the people that you're telling her she needs to not resist to, and she does a light steers them back on track, make sure they still like no one doesn't like her, right? It's not like that. No one's like, oh, Nicole is a Heisem warrior. No, she expresses that Heisem does need to go, but not yet, right? She's trying to keep on, and that's what you also agree with. You agree with McCall that
I do.
she is going the right direction. So
I do.
I don't know what the argument is. If you agree with what she's doing and she's doing it correctly, I think
I agree with the thought, but I just think that that ship has sailed. And I just don't think that she has the relationship and deep enough connections for her word to mean anything. And I think that it's just when you go against that, like you kind of have to have some power in the room to be able to make a bold move like that and not just go with the flow. And I don't think that she has that. I can't name one person that absolutely loves Mimi.
It's we criticize players for playing at Survivor pace, but then we criticize Nicole for playing at Big Brother pace. In my opinion, I think she's playing the proper pace for the long run to potentially win the game.
But I think those week one impressions and connections are so crucial to the game, right? I think it's very important, and I think that she did a bad job of creating those week one. So
her only downfall is going to be, I'll say this: she has expressed distaste for America, which is someone she needs to be teaming up with, who is also America is my last.
Yeah, that was another reason why I was shaking my head because I knew you were going to put America in there
America
too.
Easily. Listen,
I just don't see it.
America has beat all the allegations that she would be. Listen, I have been waiting for her archetype. I have been waiting for an America. I picked Alyssa Lopez as the preseason winner for BB23 because I thought I saw something in her that America actually has. A lot preseason for America. I saw it, but I couldn't. I had been done dirty by her archetype so many times of that little bubbly girl like Alyssa, Paloma, like that. I was like, I see it, but I can't go for it this season because I'll look stupid again. But she is it. She has that facade she can put up where she is all smiles. She's gonna smile her way to final two. Easily. She's gonna wear her little skirts and smile to final two because everyone loves her. She's cultivated such amazing connections with all across the house. The only player that's kind of off about her is Nicole, which I don't know if maybe she should be because America is playing a great game. So if those two can team up and play that middle with Corey, maybe Red, and pull in maybe one or two, maybe whoever survives of the Jag Blue Matt downfall, bring that in, really get some strong connections, and then downplay herself as much as she can because she's been throwing comps. No one suspects her as good at puzzles as she is because she showed it and demonstrated it night one that she can win a puzzle, and she has she dusted all three of them. It was incredible, and she's clearly throwing comps. She's not being picked for veto, so she hasn't been able to show much of that skill, which I think, and I'm confident that she does have that comp ability. Strategically, she's a super fan of 15 years that has been watching the game, which a lot of people claim. Remember Alyssa last season was like, my parents squirted me on the water, whatever. We did a practice and everyone made fun of her, and we thought, oh, she's the super fan that's going to show up. No, America really is that right. So she's not casual. She is an actual fan that understands the game. So strategy, and then social game, she just puts on that smile, she bats her eyes, and all of these people have no idea what's going to hit them. And America is going to be that player when Corey takes that shot that we think he's going to take. America will be right there to maybe fool some people in the votes, etc., and is playing just a miraculous floater game. A lot of people use the term floater really loosely, but America is truly playing a really good floater game. And again, an HOH would be the worst thing for her right now.
Yeah. So I think I would throw America more in between tier 4 and tier 3. I really see no way. There's too many powerhouses in this season. I see no way of her winning, even if she made it to the end.
I see her winning. I see her winning.
I don't. So we'll just have to agree and disagree on that and see how it plays out. I think over the past couple of years, I've really done a good job of kind of being able to see the future in the game. I predicted Xavier winning. I predicted what should have been Monty winning, but Taylor ended up winning, but she probably should have been the first boot, which I also thought was going to happen had Paloma not self-evicted. So I think the only two people in tier A or the top tier should be Suri and Jared. I think that those two easily are going to make it to the end. Suri may get picked off just because of her threat, but I think that, my takes, most people, this person, Travis, says your takes have been dog shit.
Travis, mine or Jalen?
No, he's definitely talking about me for sure, 100%.
How are mine, Travis?
My takes are usually publicly disagreed on. However, I'm usually right. So we'll just throw that out there. But I think that Suri, Jared have a clear path to the end, and who knows, things could change. But as of right now,
I'm disagreeing with you as well on Suri and Jared. Like you're not alone in this. I'm with you. They're tier 2. I just put a Miko in America above them because they're kind of the people I'm highest on right now.
I see no way of them getting to the end, to be honest. I just don't think they have the connections, right? I think that, they have the ability to maneuver their way to the end or potentially. I just don't think that they have the solid connections. They're not key players of this game. And by now, the key players are usually established, and those are the ones that usually make it to the end. And I think that what this archetype dates, are you talking like a Franzel archetype? Like what?
No, what? Like badass super fan girl that's really bubbly and kind of can put up a show for other players. Like I thought Alyssa Lopez, I thought a bit Alyssa and Paloma. I was really high on America as well in that same category. But I was like, I've been done dirty the past 2 years by all those girls that are kind of that super fan bubbly type of girl. But then America really showed out, and I'm really high on her.
Yeah, I think she's done a good job this week. I think that she's shown me more this week, but I just don't see it. But we'll have to see how it unrolls.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
So we'll talk next. We'll just 3 people most likely to be evicted. I'll go first. Number 1, and then I guess we can kind of touch on scenarios how we think it might happen. I think number 1 going in, I think I'm still going to put Heisem as number 1 as most likely to get evicted. And I think that the people that are willing to win HOH on the handful side, or not on the handful side, on the professor's side, I think that they would be willing to take that shot. I think that those people are Cameron, which he's not technically in the professor's alliance, right?
Cameron's not, no.
No. Okay. Because I know that he tried to kind of make a flip to that side and then volunteered himself up as a pawn. So I think that he thinks that he's kind of in with them. I think Karen is wanting to win HOH. I think Red is wanting to win HOH. I think Bowie would try to win HOH. Is she capable? I don't think so. And I think Mama Felicia is wanting to win HOH. And I think Izzy would want to win HOH, but she would throw it to one of those three people. I don't think Suri is going to try and win HOH. Obviously, Heisem can't compete. I think that all those three people that are most likely, in my opinion, to win HOH, Cameron, Red, Felicia, on that side, I think all three of them would be willing to take that shot just because it would be a move that could be orchestrated through Suri without Suri having to get the blood on her hands,
actually,
if that makes sense. And I think that she would see that as an opportunity for people who blindly follow her and would blindly listen to her to take that shot. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I just don't think that many. We don't even know if the HOH is going to be throwable. That's the thing. We don't know.
Correct. Also true. That is true.
Yeah. And we don't. And we've seen Jared go for the HOH. So I'm not trying to base this off the odds.
I think Jared takes the shot too.
So what's your top three?
So Heisem is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Jag.
Okay.
I think that Jag is going to be the target if they decide not to go after Heisem. If like a Red wins HOH, if a Felicia wins HOH, I think that more than likely they're not. Like if Felicia wins HOH, which I honestly could see her winning this HOH, depending on what it is, obviously. I just think it's kind of one of those weird spots in the game for somebody like her to win. And I think that she puts up Jag and blue and Jag goes home. Now, so Jag, I think, would be the most likely target of the other side if they decide not to go after Heisem. Now, if their side wins HOH is when it really gets interesting, right? Do they take the approach, which Blue and Jag, being they're still cool with Izzy and Suri post Riley not being saved, right? Which I still think they are. They have been making it an effort to wanting to work with the other side. If that's the case, they take out Heisem. If they get smart about it and they realize doing their dirty work and taking out somebody that they already want out on that side is stupid, watch out Suri and watch out Izzy, because I could see it getting really interesting. It's almost like one of those things that if they don't do what they want, it's because they see them as a threat and they pull that trigger. You get what I'm saying?
Heisem, Jag, then Suri.
Izzy. I don't think Suri's going anywhere.
All right. Yeah. That's crazy. That's out there. My number 1 to go home this next week. I know you're saying people might be off about 3 girls leaving alone in a row, but I'm putting number 1 Blue as most likely to leave this next week. I think if there's trouble in paradise for that side of the house again, I think Blue is the least likely to pivot successfully to the other side, and we'll take it. Number 2, I'm putting Cameron. I forgot
about him.
I think there's a big difference between being in the middle and being in the middle, where there's being in the middle and you're up here, and both sides think you're on their side. And then there's being in the middle down here, where neither side truly values you or thinks you're on their side. I think Cameron is down here, and I see him hitting the block. And if he's a final nominee, there is always a chance to go home. Mm-hmm. So Blue, Cameron. 3, crazy. Let me think of I don't want to play it safe. I'm just thinking most likely to go home. I would have to say I'll put 3. I'll put Red. I think if the other side does win HOH, what's handful? If they do win HOH, I think Red takes the hit because I think they're all too scared to make a move. I think Red hits the block maybe next to Heisem, and then Red takes the unfortunate leave once they need it. Once they want Heisem in the. I think I'm saying it right now. I don't think Heisem's going home this week. I really don't.
And I think that I'll quickly pivot off of that once feeds come back on and see. I'll be able to quickly tell. I think there's either like 100, like obviously, but I think there's either we'll know quickly if it's like, okay, he's going home, he has no chance, or okay, they pivoted off of him. We'll know quickly, right? And I just think, I think it's like him and I forgot about Cameron. I really did. He's just so forgettable. I think that he has a high chance of going home as well. I really do. So I think that, yeah, we'll see. But I just think that it's going to be, if anybody from the other side, it's going to be Jag. That's my personal opinion. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. And we'll have to see how that unfolds. But who are you rooting for to win HOH? What do you want to see?
To win HOH, because I don't know what I want to happen. I just want it to be interesting, and I want a Heisem backdoor to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to see ultimately a Blue or Cameron leave, I think. So whatever. So maybe a Felicia HOH would be really funny.
That's who I'm personally rooting for. I'm rooting for Felicia, for even a McCole. I don't know if I want a McCole HOH, but like a Felicia, a Corey. Although I don't think that he's going to win HOH. I really think that the most, what I would want the most right now is Felicia winning HOH, because I think that we would watch Sheree work through her. I think Heisem gets backdoored, and I think it just kind of sets up the stage for a good pressure cooker,
That's another thing. I just wanted to set up a good pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Everyone would want for a long time.
No matter what happens, I think that, unfortunately, I think what would set up the worst pressure cooker is an easy week, an easy Heisem backdoor. You know what I mean?
I think that's everyone. It's unanimous. Heisem goes. Everyone feeling good. You want to take a shot. Yeah.
Right. Whereas if it goes back to the split house thing and like a Jag, Blue, or Matt goes, then now we got, because they're not going to want one of them to win, and one of them are going to know they have to win. You know
or
I mean?
Even if Blue, Matt, or Jag, or someone from that side take a shot, puts up Heisem next to someone like Red, Izzy.
Well, Heisem's getting backdoored regardless.
And Heisem gets backdoored, but then Heisem stays. That would be really interesting.
Right.
With the split vote.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think in my opinion, there's always a producer's edge to, and I think they want a good pressure cooker. So I think they're going to want Heisem in the game. So I think he has the producer's edge this week to try to stay, whether it be the POV comp in his favor or something.
Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, final thoughts. I mean, I don't know. This week has been really interesting. I think the season so far has been good. We'll have to see how it plays out. I think we kind of have differing views on what's going to happen, which is good, because we'll get to see who has it.
I'll take better. Now that we've done one, I'm going to take better notes for the next week.
Yeah.
Next eviction.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say that you followed feeds so far this season?
6, 7.
6. Okay. I would say I'm like at a 9, 8, 9. Especially this week, I watched feeds religiously. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens over time. I think this week is kind of like a defining moment in the game, right?
Oh yeah.
And I hope that something happens. I think with Izzy in the house and Sari in the house, I just think that they overcomplicate things, they overthink things, and they make the game more interesting no matter what. So I think as long as they're in the house, I think we're in for a lot of fun. Because that duo right there is just, it's insane.
Bro, honestly, I was so off on Izzy, but the clips I be seeing on Twitter, have you seen that 1 minute straight of Izzy hating Cameron relentlessly or something? And it's just,
yeah,
oh my god,
she's nuts. She really is.
I love it, because I don't like Cameron either, so she kind of like embodies that little twitch in me.
I like her too. I think that she's just a firecracker. I think that she has some sort of, I think we talk about like Jared having like that alpha complex. I think she has like that wannabe alpha complex, like where it's like she doubts herself and is very insecure. So whenever other people doubt her, it like feeds that, and she just gets uncontrollably angry. Like I've seen her do it multiple times with Heisem and with people doubting, like saying being like she freaked out on Jared at some point because Jared was like insinuating at the fact that the other side might steamroll because they're more capable in comps. Like he didn't even expressly
Another thing
say
I
it.
don't like about Izzy is her playing like the LGBT alliance need to stick together, but then has been so adamant on Heisem going.
Yeah.
Like it took 2 weeks for you to go back on something that you believe in so religiously. Just I don't know. I feel like that's gonna get kind of put out there if Heisem hears like, oh yeah, Izzy's adamant. He's gonna be like, okay, what the fuck? Because you played the gay card already.
Right.
And then
I think the best situation this week is Heisem figuring out that he was a target from his own side, but not going home.
I think that's best, but I think Suri has every base covered. I think she's gonna, if Heisem does find out, she's gonna be able to play it off like, of course I would say those things to people that wanted you out, but obviously the vote was 12-0 and I stuck by you and didn't put you up, right? So I feel like she has that base covered. Izzy would not. Izzy probably is dumb enough to be like, yeah, I wanted you out, and then chaos ensues, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens, but look out for Corey, look out for Jared, look out for Suri. I think those are the three biggest threats, in my opinion, to win the game. So that's who I kind of watched.
Look out for America, and look out for. I'll put Corey up. Corey is definitely a sleeper, but probably
just Corey. I think Corey. I think he's the biggest threat.
This is why so many people are off Corey is because he's this scrawny little white boy that is a bit cocky, and
that archetype is the best.
Week one, he was all of Twitter, all of social media didn't want Kirsten out, didn't want Felicia out, didn't want Jared out, and he was the only other option to go up. So everyone jumped off of him and made him the person to hate, and to person that kind of they made this facade that he sucks because they wanted him out so bad, and they wanted that fake reality where he goes home first boot, and he got painted as that first boot for that first couple days, but then obviously he gets safe, and a lot of people still haven't hopped off that mindset that he's now actually in a genuine position, and people still haven't came around. But I mean, if you're watching this and you're off of Corey and still have him wrote off as an early boot, he's making jury. So
yeah, I think Corey is the biggest threat. The way that I see it is Jared Suri have a clear path to the end, but Corey is the one that I think has the best chance to derail that. And so
I agree, Noel. Noel, were you here for my tiers? America and Nicole are my top two. I've been saying a lot of people listen. I was the first hit tweet. I said bookmark this. America or Nicole are winning the season. And it went crazy. It got all the bookmarks. And then 2 days later, 3 days later, I see the exact same kind of formatted tweets. It's a picture of America, a picture of Nicole, and it's some sort of caption that they're going to do well. Why I don't know why but I painted that way, and now a lot of Twitter is kind of agreeing with me, which I hate because I like disagreeing with Twitter, but a lot of people are high on America and Nicole, and I'd like to say I painted a good path for that because I was the first person to genuinely observe. I know a lot of people get their opinions straight from Twitter, so they now agree with me. America and Nicole are. I thank you, Noel. I was the first. And Nicole is my preseason winner pick and is still rocking it out. In America, I wanted to, but I'm so high on her. I was messaging people after I saw her run through that puzzle in like 15 seconds. And then after the next episode, when I saw her DRs and how she can actually talk in the DR, I was so high on America. And I was trying to trade her if Legend's watching, Legend knows I messaged him episode 2 begging to trade for America. I was begging. No one else would have. I was giving him like 2 players for 1, trying to get America. I was asking people to prop bet on America. And now everyone's come around now that because obviously Jalen claims to see the future. I can actually see the future because I know one of them is going to win, and Heisem's not going home this week. So
I can somewhat get behind Heisem not going home this week, but I would be willing to bet a lot, not even money, like just anything. That like I would do something embarrassing if McCuller or America won the game. I'd shave my head. We could make that bet right now. I'd go completely bald if one of them win the game.
I'm going to shave my head if America or Nicole win the season.
if America or Nicole win this season, I will shave my head completely bald. Skin.
I believe you. All right, I'm clipping it. It's getting posted to Twitter later.
Clip that.
Okay.
Clip that.
At final 8 when they're both still in the game and in great positioning, I'm posting that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Do we have anything else on the chat?
I don't think so. Any other questions?
No else.
Who's your early favorite for America? I mean, Suri, right?
Felicia. Suri or Felicia?
Yeah.
That's obvious. Jared. I mean, Jared doesn't get it.
No, Jared doesn't have a chance.
Suri or Felicia?
Yeah, Suri, Felicia. I could also see Red, maybe.
I was about to say maybe Red takes the Donnie Thompson pipeline.
Just the casual fans, you know.
Yeah. Maybe Red takes it.
There's on Twitter, there's no like besides Suri, obviously, there's no like overwhelming like toxic, like there's always that one person that just like everybody rallies around and it can do no wrong. But this season there is not really one of that. So I think people have done a good job of kind of calling out Suri.
I had a long when do you believe, because I was having to talk with my friend Luke. I was asking we were talking about AFPs. When did Nicole Anthony become because it was Kemi for the longest time, it was Kemi for AFP. And then Cliff for a while was up there. And then when did it become Nicole Anthony? Because I believe it was when she won like BB Comics. But that wasn't deep in the game, right?
I think it was more so just the turnaround from like that whole like bullying segment, right? And just them being the outsiders. I think because she made it the farthest, I think that she just had that underdog story, and I think that that's how that happened. I think it was Kimmy, but she went out too soon. You know what I mean? So,
and the way they have voting, I forget how they do it, but now that they do voting the way they do, and they've done it since 22 when Devon won, Twitter has had a firm grasp on a firm grasp.
I think it's Cerise to lose, but
right now it's looking like Suri or Felicia. Probably, I feel like if I had to put money on it right now, Felicia, just because she probably I don't know.
I think Mimi could make her if she does make a deep run in the game. I think that.
I think Izzy. If Izzy's like the underdog,
no chance. People are gonna dude. She is gonna end up being hated by Twitter one way or another. It's just bound to happen. Like she was from the second I saw her cast, whatever, her photos, her bio, her videos, I knew that one way or another, she is bound to be hated by the masses. And now she knows Suri and Jared's secret. She's working closely with them. That just means that she's playing with fire, and she is going to be the most hated house guest by the end of it, hands down.
We'll see.
It's going to be her or Corey when Corey takes out Suri. I think if there's one moment that I'm rooting for, and it's not that I'm rooting against Suri.
Corey can do anything to be hated. I think the lowest he could be is how he was perceived early. I think
if he takes out Suri, you don't think that he'll be hated by Twitter?
No, I think a lot of people are not that torn on. I know there's a lot of Suri riders, but a lot of people would absolutely respect the move if Suri was took out. Because a lot of people
deep down inside they would respect it, but they're not gonna.
Everyone's called Suri a misogynist at some point. It's absolutely insane. Some people have called her things where she's mispronouncing Hysam's name wrong or something. They try to get her.
They
down
reach, bro. That's. So I can't believe that this game, I've told you multiple times, after every season, probably the last 4 years, I'm honestly surprised at this. If I was a producer of this show, I would literally give up because there's not anything that they can do without there being complaints. And
I think they accepted that. I think that's why. I think they just know that they're going to make a buttload of money and people are going to complain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Noel says, I really want Felicia to win AFP. It would be really expected for Suri to win, which doesn't make it fun. Also, Suri has the best chance to win at the moment. I agree, but I think I think it just depends on when Suri goes.
Who wins? Who wins if Suri and Jared are in the final two?
That's the thing.
I think Jared too. Yeah. I think that the only way Suri makes it to the final two is if it's with Jared, right? And I think in that situation, Jared wins every time, just because
Well, it depends on the jury.
I think that she would want him to win. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she
Like,
wouldn't care. It would feel like winning to her already.
Right. And if that's me and my mom, like we've already made a deal going into the game, like we're splitting it 50-50. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, it's true. But I think that she would kind of campaign for him to win in a way. You know what I mean?
I think she also craves the title though. She's never got it.
Well, she won Traders, so
still, I mean, she's a competitor at heart. She would feel just as good if Jared win, but she will absolutely not help him win. She's gonna, if it's her and him at the end, she's won already. Now it's her job to just beat him, right? But if she doesn't, who cares, right?
Yeah,
that's gonna be her mindset.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that more than likely Jared wins if it's those two at the end. I don't know. You never know. But
depends on the jury. Like if they pop a lot of that side out early, and then the jury is like Felicia, Izzy, Nicole, Heisam, right?
Yeah. It also depends on jury management, though. You know what I mean? So it depends on how, because Sari, obviously, she is going to pull off big moves and she's going to blindside people.
Well, and Sari would win. I see it. Listen, Noel, I think it depends on the jury. But right now, like, if it's like Heisam out next, which I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say Heisam out next, and then one more to end to make a jury. So Heisam and let's say Cameron, sure.
It just sucks that Izzy knows, because once she makes it to jury, like I want it to be a finale day surprise.
Like I could see if Izzy slips out in a double eviction and Sari did nothing wrong to her, right? Let's say Izzy's on the block next to Red or something. Izzy and Red are final noms, and Sari and Jared vote to keep Izzy, and it's a split vote, and Red stays somehow, and Izzy leaves out the door. Sari did nothing wrong to her. Now the secret's completely contained, right? I think that could easily
happen. But what I'm saying is I don't think that she would ever expose that secret walking out of the door unless they completely do her wrong, right?
Exactly.
But I'm saying in jury, right? Let's say she's final 7. As soon as she gets the jury, she's gonna tell them all that the relationship. So you want her to
get deep, is what you're saying.
It's not only that. I just hope that the producers tell her don't say anything. You know what I mean? Like save it for finale night, because I think that would be epic. Like I think that would be one of the biggest reactions in the history of Big Brother.
If she gets final 7 and up, I think she keeps it secret. If she's final 8 or lower and on jury, I think it's going to be like a shock every week. Like every jury segment, we're going to get that shock of, oh my God, right? Like what Riley gave tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But the reactions are only going to get crazier, because Kirsten wasn't like too shocked, right?
Right.
She was like, oh, that's pretty crazy. But Riley, now that it's been 2 weeks, now next week, when it's someone that's going home after being in there for 21 days, they're going to be just as more shocked. And then once you're coming out of the house 2 months, you're going to be, oh my God, like it's going to be unreal.
I will say Jared was hinting at, I think that if his little showmance with Blue goes any farther, I think that there's a chance that he tells her, because there was a moment when like I was watching another cam and then all 4 cams switched on those two.
And that's your boy?
I think that the showmance thing is we didn't even really talk about that, but actually I think that is another miscalculation by him. I think that he has the easiest path to win. Usually the person that has the easiest path to win usually wins, right? And is set up the best to win usually wins, right? So it's just like the fact that he's even like, why, bro? What are you doing? Like, why are you getting into a showmance? Like, your mom is there. Like, what are you doing, bro? So
no, and this is why I don't get being so high on Jared, is because it's just a person. I see it. I mean, he's a ditz, and you consider him to be in the best spot, but it's again miscalculation after miscalculation after miscalculation. At what point do you stop calling them miscalculations and you just say it's bad gameplay? Like, he's just a bad player, right? Like if he didn't have Sari to keep him grounded, these miscalculations would be sending him packing, bro, like out the door.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think that he's been more of kind of like guiding Izzy and Sari in the right direction than I just see a lot of good, the way that he speaks and the way that he like in the important conversations, he's very like people listen to him.
I think you just are so high on him because you would probably work with him. I think you just like him because he would be your boy in the house.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But
All right,
I personally
tell me
think
this: if he tells Blue, will you eat your words? Like if he goes and actually leaks, because we agree, if he leaks it to Blue, that would be the absolute worst thing for his game.
Yeah, I think it depends on her reaction. If she tells people, which I think is more than likely, then I'll be completely off of it. You know what I mean?
All right.
But if he tells her and he doesn't tell people, then I'll be like, damn, he's
finesse. Maybe we'll see.
You know what I
Personally,
mean?
I think it'd be smarter just to contain it. But
me too, which I hope he does. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But and also I just like to like people that everybody hates. Like
you do. Yeah, I do too.
That's just me. And people don't like Jared, so
at least you can admit it, I guess.
Yeah. So
thanks, Noel and Travis, for chatting some more.
Yep. But yeah, I guess I mean I think it would be cool. I don't know when you have time, but I think it would be cool to try and do like 2 of these a week, like after an episode, another episode.
Well, for sure, for people watching right now, we are for sure after every
live eviction, correct? Yeah. So for sure we'll be back next Thursday, and this is more chill than most. We're not very organized or planned out. It's just us talking. So
it's literally just chatting because we pride ourselves on our big brother opinions.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we're gonna have to see who's right and who's wrong. But
listen, I took one listen to. Actually, okay, I'll say it. I took one listen to RHAP this season after the premiere, and all they do is regurgitate what Twitter wants to hear. That's all they do. They just complain. That's all they do.
Yeah. No, there's not a lot of people that have a lot of game knowledge that we do. But we'll wrap this up. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And I'll stand by my word. If America or Nicole win, I'll shave my head.
You heard it here first.
I'll do it live. We'll do it live. But appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday for sure. Peace.